Coming to you from Annapolis, Maryland, home of the U.S. Naval Academy, the sailing capital of the world, home of the world's largest crab feast, and 4 signers of the Declaration of Independence. This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, a daily roundup of local news that you can use, including local sports, local events, local opinion, and local weather from DMV Weather. Now here's your host, publisher of Eye on Annapolis, John Frenaye.
And then there were only 6 more shopping days until Christmas. Hello there, this is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief for Tuesday, December 19th. Some sad news out of Annapolis. Longtime business owner Gus Leanos has passed away early this morning. Leanos was the owner of the Annapolis Gourmet and Deli in West Annapolis, which is now the Rutabaga Juicery, and he would have been 96 in February. Funeral arrangements are pending, but Gus is one of the longtime businessmen in Annapolis. Wonderful family, and he will be sorely missed. Our thoughts go out to his family. At least 3 people are dead and more are injured in a harrowing train derailment near Tacoma, Washington. An Amtrak train skipped its rails yesterday on an overpass and multiple cars fell onto I-5 below. This was the inaugural run of Amtrak's 501 regional service, which was running on a new bypass section of track put in place to eliminate some sharp turns and single-track tunnels. It's been revealed that the train was going nearly 80 miles per hour when all 12 cars jumped the track and some fell onto the interstate below. The speed limit on that stretch is 30 miles per hour. The NTSB won't confirm that this is the cause of the derailment yet, and there were about 80 people aboard that train. U.S. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos was greeted by boos and protest Monday as she gave a commencement speech at the University of Baltimore. About 50 protesters gathered across the street from the Lyric, including University of Baltimore faculty, LGBT activists, and students. Some carried signs with slogans such as "Democracy needs public schools." DeVos had spent decades promoting the use of vouchers and other methods to redirect public money into private schools. As her speech got underway, about 50 people stood up and silently faced the back of the theater, turning their backs on the speaker. In more protest news, last night's county council, about a dozen people spoke to demand the resignation of Chairman Michael Peroutka from both the chairman's seat as well as the council itself. The speakers brought up many concerns, including his past involvement with League of the South, his support of Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore, and suggested that he may have violated federal law by claiming he was an attorney with a law firm, Peroutka and Peroutka, which is no longer in business. There were several residents that supported the chairman, and they typically were met with boos and grumbles from the audience. Peroutka did not respond to any of the allegations or calls for his resignation. However, he did offer a brief statement saying that he would never support anyone who practices or engages in pedophilia, and that was in response to the criticism about his support of Roy Moore. The council was also set to take up school capacity, where they would reduce the level at which development would need to stop, and that was punted until January. Perhaps caused by the upcoming holiday season, a lot of drunk drivers were on Maryland roads this past weekend. State police say there were 18 alcohol-related accidents that they investigated over the weekend, occurring in 10 different counties. Last year at this time, there were 13. 6 were reported Friday, 8 Saturday, 3 Sunday, and 1 before 1 a.m. Monday morning. State highway grants are allowing additional troopers to patrol the roads during the holiday season. And if you're an Apple fanboy or a fangirl and you're looking for some Airpods for Christmas, they're totally sold out. If you're a last-minute holiday shopper and if you're out there trying to get your hands on the Airpods, you're out of luck. They're back-ordered at almost every retailer, and delivery isn't expected until the first week of January 2018 at the earliest. So if you ask Santa for Airpods, good luck with that. Actually, those things are weird-looking. That's all I got for the news. Hang tight. I've got a little bit of an editorial coming up with an open letter to Mayor Gavin Buckley. Right now, we've got George Young and DMV Weather.
Did you know that more than 1,200 mental health patients had to be transferred last year by AAMC to facilities outside our area because these facilities do not exist right here in our own area? Denim and Diamonds is a fabulous, fun evening under the stars to support expanding mental health care in our community. AAMC Foundation proudly thanks RxNT for their generous $50,000 exclusive presenting sponsorship. Get more info at AAMCDenimandDiamonds.org.
This is Maryland. The weather can be nearly unpredictable. We've got George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis to sort it all out.
Hey everyone, this is George from DMV Weather. Here's your Annapolis forecast for Tuesday, December 19th. For today, we forecasted a target high temp of 58 degrees for downtown Annapolis and 60 degrees for BWI Airport, with a fair amount of sunshine all day and some borderline breezy conditions at times, but relatively light winds on the whole. Expect lows tonight in the upper 30s to mid 40s across Anne Arundel County, and then we'll cool down a bit Wednesday and Thursday back into the 40s before climbing back to 50 plus degrees for Friday. After that, the skies above will get active again, and we should start to expect rain in the Saturday, Sunday, and unfortunately even Christmas Day timeframe as a powerful storm moves through the eastern half of the United States, which at this point appears as though it'll likely move by to our west, which will keep us warm enough for all rain, but even that's not a 100% definite at this point. And regardless of that, it's looking more and more likely that we'll experience some serious cold air again after Christmas but before New Year's Day. So stay tuned as we monitor the upcoming stormy pattern and also the expected Arctic air we think is headed our way late month. Okay, that's it for us today. Be sure to download our free weather app in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store by searching for DC MDVA Weather, and also follow us 24/7, 365 on our website at dmvweather.com or on social media via Twitter or Facebook. This is George Young of DMV Weather with your Annapolis forecast. Make it a great day, and remember, whatever the weather outside, have fun and be safe.
Hey there, this is John Fernay, and the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief is sponsored by, well, it could be you. Podcasting is a growing trend, and since launching on September 1st, we have more than 10,000 downloads of this podcast, plus thousands of listens on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. In addition to our Facebook page, All Annapolis, and our Twitter account, we distribute the Daily News Brief to Apple Podcasts, which used to be called iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and the TuneIn app that can be played on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. We focus on local news, local weather, local events, and local sports, including high school and college. So our audience is pretty tightly targeted to the greater Annapolis area. And if you own or manage a local business, you're a likely customer. Intrigued? Well, here's something to think about. Your company could be featured on this daily podcast for less than $20 a day. Interested? Shoot me an email and let's talk. My email address is john@eyeonannapolis.net, and that's EYEONANNAPOLIS, but you already knew that, .net. Let's get together and see what we can make happen.
They say opinions are like... Here we are with a dose of opinion for you.
Hey, Mayor Buckley. Before politics, you were in the restaurant business, and you were quite successful. So I know that you know the importance of basic customer service. Maybe, now as you lead Annapolis for the next 4 or more years, you can see about implementing a bit of customer service within the city. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a ton of great people that work for the city. Perhaps too many people, but that's an entirely different conversation. And they are capable and valuable employees. For years, I have heard that the city possesses this culture of no. It's far easier for anybody that works there to say no or to rely on the old, quote, well, that's the way we always do things, unquote, than to seek out any kind of improvement or to help somebody. But I have a tip for you. Take a top-down look at the basic customer service across all of your departments. Regardless of the tasks that everyone is responsible for, in the end, it does come down to customer service. From repairing potholes and sidewalks, to removing trash, to collecting the utility bills, to plowing the roads, to fighting fires, and keeping our streets safe. Over the past week, I've had 2 opportunities to interact with your police department, and I have to say, they really could brush up a bit on their own customer service. Last week in an editorial, I mentioned a female officer that just seemed hell-bent on intimidating me, as another officer was writing me a warning for a California stop that I totally had pulled, and I totally deserved the warning, if not the ticket. And again, thanks again to Officer Kess for being a really nice guy. But this past Saturday, there was an accident on my street. I heard the crash. I went out, I looked, I asked if anybody was injured, and nobody was. I called it in to the dispatch line, and told them what had happened. A pickup truck towing a load of firewood slid down a hill through a stop sign and T-boned another car that was at the other stop sign. I told the dispatch would need an officer, at least one tow truck, and they should probably get Public Works out to salt the hill as it was very slippery as well as the rest of the road. Their response was very succinct and curt. They said, "We'll send an officer and he'll make the determination if the road is slippery or not." Now granted, I'm not a rocket scientist, I'm not even a meteorologist, but I do think I'm capable of determining if something is slippery or not. And judging from the fact that there's an accident 40 feet from my house, I think I was on top of that. To be honest, the dispatcher could have simply said, "Okay, hey, thanks for letting us know." Hung up, it would have been the perfect answer, and I would have been on my way and thought nothing more of it. When I owned a retail business, I routinely got together with other business owners, and one program we developed was calling each other's businesses just to see how we were treated, and we would get back together and report to each other. Sometimes we would visit each other's business and actually see how it would play out in person. Might be an idea for you and the city. Now, I know you can't do it with that dead giveaway Aussie accent, but maybe your new ombudsman might be able to make that a priority. Call to get an extension of a utility payment, or ask for a copy of a police incident report. Report a big pothole. It's very easy to assume things are going well when you're in your corner office at City Hall and you're surrounded by appointed people, all these yes men and women, but it may not be the case. Just saying. And that's what's on my mind today.
Thanks for listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. If you like what you heard, make sure to tell your friends and colleagues about it. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find much more. Be sure to check out our other weekly podcast, The Maryland Crabs. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at noon. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.